I never thought I'd be sharing this, but here goes. I'm Ethan, 34, and I work in finance. Basically, I'm the responsible one in my family. My sister, Chloe, total golden child. Mom, Sarah, always favored her, and since Dad died, it's like I'm supposed to pick up the slack financially. It's always Ethan can handle it. I'm starting to feel like a walking ATM, and honestly, I'm pretty sure they don't even see me anymore. How did I get here? Sarah's 60th was a lavish affair. I'd footed the bill for most of it, including a ridiculous cake. I walked in, carrying it carefully, and Chloe snarked, "Oh, look, the bank is here." I forced a smile, but then Uncle David raised his glass. "To Ethan," he slurred, "the one who always gives but is never valued." My stomach dropped to my knees. I looked at Mom, pleading for something. She just sighed. "Ethan, don't make a scene." A cold wave washed over me. All the blood drained from my face. Don't make a scene. This wasn't a scene, this was my life. My hands trembled so badly I had to set the cake down. Was I making a big deal out of nothing? Was I just overly sensitive? "This isn't about you," I could practically hear Mom saying in my head. It never was. This wasn't about a party. It was about a lifetime of being taken for granted. The sting of their words, their blatant disrespect, cut deeper than I ever imagined. I felt invisible, used, and profoundly alone. I walked out, just left the cake, the catering bill, everything. Figured they could sort it out. Big mistake. My phone blew up immediately. Texts, calls, voicemails. All variations of the same theme. I had ruined the party. I was being dramatic. I was so sensitive. "Chloe, seriously, Ethan, overreact much." "Mom, you embarrass me in front of the whole family. Why would you do that?" I tried to explain in a group text. "I'm tired of being taken for granted. I just wanted to be appreciated, not used." The response was immediate and brutal. "Chloe, oh, here we go, playing the victim card." Uncle David chimed in, emboldened by liquid courage, I'm sure. "Lighten up, kid, it was a joke." "Mom, Ethan, we're family. We should support each other." "Why are you bringing this up now?" My throat closed up, words trapped inside. I wanted to scream, to tell them how much this all hurt, but the air just wouldn't move. My face burned with humiliation, a familiar heat. It was always like this. I wanted to believe them. "Maybe I am being too sensitive," I called Mom. "Big mistake number two." "Ethan, honey, I'm just so disappointed," she sighed, a master class in guilt. "Your father would be ashamed." "Ashamed? Of me? For what?" "Mom, I just wanted you to stick up for me." "Oh, please," she scoffed. "Everyone has problems, you're not special. Chloe's been having a hard time, you know. You always make everything about you." "That never happened the way you're describing it." My heart pounded against my ribs. It felt like a cage, trapping my anger, my hurt. I wanted to lash out, to defend myself, but the words wouldn't come. I was suffocating. I need some time," I managed to stammer. "Fine," she said, her voice dripping with disappointment. "But don't expect us to clean up your mess." I hung up. The silence in my apartment was deafening. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. What had I done? Was I really the bad guy here? A single searing thought cut through the self-doubt. Maybe, just maybe, I don't deserve this. The following weekend, Mom announced a family dinner to clear the air. I almost didn't go. But then I thought about Dad. He would have wanted me to be there. Big mistake number three. The air in Mom's dining room was thick with unspoken accusations. Chloe sat beside her, radiating an aura of practiced martyrdom. Uncle David was there too. I could feel the tension building in my shoulders. "So, Ethan," Mom began, her voice saccharine sweet, "we're all here because we love you." I clenched my jaw. "That's how it always started." "Remember when you were little and you broke your arm?" Chloe interjected, her eyes gleaming with false sympathy. "Mom stayed up all night with you. Remember that?" Why was I still putting up with this? A wave of nausea washed over me. I remembered Mom staying up with me, yes, but I also remembered the constant refrain. "You're such a burden, Ethan." "And remember when you needed that new bike?" Uncle David added, joining the chorus. "Your mom worked extra shifts to get it for you." "We've always been there for you, Ethan," Mom said, her voice laced with a subtle accusation. "We just want you to be happy." Happy? Was I even allowed to be happy? Or was my sole purpose in life to make them happy? "It's just, you've been so distant lately," Chloe said, her lower lip trembling slightly. "And Mom's been so worried, she hasn't been sleeping." My head throbbed. The familiar tension headache was starting. Maybe if you weren't so selfish, Mom began, but I cut her off. I'm not selfish, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Then what is this about? She demanded, her eyes narrowed. We just want you to be a part of this family. Is that so much to ask? It's about respect, I said, the words feeling foreign on my tongue. It's about being valued for more than my bank account. Oh, here we go again, Chloe sighed dramatically, rolling her eyes. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Okay, I said, standing up. I'm going to go. What now? You can't just leave, Mom protested, her voice rising. I have work to do, I said, not making eye contact, a complete fabrication. But we haven't even finished talking. There's nothing more to say, I replied quietly. I walked to the door, ignoring their protests. As I reached the handle, Mom called out, Ethan, your father would be so disappointed in you. I paused, my hand on the doorknob. For a moment, I almost turned back. But then I remembered the cake, the toast, the years of feeling invisible. I opened the door and walked out. Hey, Dr. Lee said, her voice calm. Come in, Ethan. I sank into the familiar armchair, the leather cool against my skin. I don't even know where to start, I mumbled, staring at my hands. Start anywhere, she encouraged gently. How have you been feeling since our last session? I shrugged. Okay, I guess, just family stuff. I always minimized. Dr. Lee raised an eyebrow, a silent prompt. It's just my mom's birthday party, I began, then trailed off. It was fine. But she pressed, her gaze unwavering. I sighed. Okay, it wasn't fine. My sister made some comment about me being the bank, and my uncle toasted to me being never valued. It was mortifying, and Mom just told me not to make a scene. Dr. Lee's expression shifted, a flicker of concern in her eyes. And how did that make you feel, Ethan? Like crap, obviously, I said, the word sharper than I intended. Like I'm just there to pay for things, like they don't actually see me. That's not normal family behavior, Ethan, she said slowly, her voice laced with disbelief. I scoffed. Yeah, well, welcome to my family. It's always been like this. I pay, they take, it's expected. Give me some examples, she requested, leaning forward slightly. Hesitantly, I started to list them. Chloe's college tuition, Mom's new car, the down payment on their house, countless loans that never get repaid. I even paid for their vacation last year. As the words tumbled out, I started to feel a sense of shame. Dr. Lee listened intently, her brow furrowed. And you've been doing this for how long? Years, I admitted. Since Dad died, really, I felt like I had to step up. She paused, then asked, Ethan, you realize that's manipulative, right? The guilt trips, the expectations, the lack of appreciation. The word hit me like a punch to the gut. Manipulative, I'd never thought of it that way. I don't know, I stammered. They're my family. If anyone else treated you that way, would you accept it? She countered, her voice gentle but firm. I looked down at my hands again, the question hanging in the air. The answer was obvious. No, absolutely not. You deserve to be treated with basic respect, Ethan, Dr. Lee continued. You deserve to be valued for who you are, not just what you can provide. My throat tightened. I felt a lump forming. I don't want to disappoint them, I whispered. But what about disappointing yourself? She asked softly. What about your own needs, your own happiness? The silence stretched out between us, thick with unspoken truths. I thought about the years of sacrificing my own dreams, my own desires to keep my family happy. And for what? To be treated like a walking ATM. A new feeling began to stir within me. Not just resentment, but anger. And underneath that, a flicker of hope. It's not your responsibility to fix their problems, Ethan, Dr. Lee said, her voice filled with conviction. You're not responsible for their happiness, you're responsible for your own. I finally met her gaze, tears welling in my eyes. I think I'm starting to see that, I said, my voice trembling. Good, she said, a small smile playing on her lips. Because you deserve so much more than this, Ethan. You deserve to be free. Weeks later, an email from Mom. Subject, we need to talk. My stomach clenched. I knew what was coming. It started with the usual platitudes. We miss you, Ethan. Things haven't been the same since. Then the subtle jabs. Chloe's really struggling. I'm not getting any younger, you know. Then the kicker. We've decided to have an intervention. An intervention. For me, we're worried about you, Ethan, she wrote, the concern dripping with condescension. You've been so distant, so angry. We think you need help. Help, they thought I needed help. After years of enabling their behavior, after all the sacrifices I'd made, they were staging an intervention for me. "We've all agreed that you need to come home and talk things out," she continued. "We can't keep living like this, Ethan. You're tearing this family apart." The audacity, the sheer, unadulterated gall. They were blaming me for their problems, for their inability to appreciate what they had. I felt a surge of anger, hot and blinding. My hands started to shake. My breath came in ragged gasps. I scrolled down, reading the rest of the email, but the words blurred into a meaningless jumble. All I could see was their faces, their entitled expressions, their complete lack of self-awareness. Tearing this family apart. I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound that echoed in the empty apartment. Something snapped. A dam broke. Years of suppressed anger, resentment, and hurt surged to the surface, coalescing into a single, burning resolve. I wasn't tearing this family apart. They were. And I was done trying to hold it together. My hands clenched into fists. My jaw tightened. I stood up straighter, my shoulders back. The anxiety that had plagued me for weeks vanished, replaced by a strange, almost exhilarating calm. I was done. Done with the guilt trips, done with the expectations, done with being taken for granted. I would not go to their intervention. I would not apologize. I would not participate in their twisted version of reality. A sense of relief washed over me, mixed with a steely resolve. I was free. Free from the burden of their expectations, free from the obligation to fix their problems. My fingers flew across the keyboard, booking a one-way ticket. Kyoto, Japan. I clicked confirm. This was it. No more. I am not responsible for their happiness. My time is my own. They will not guilt me into anything. I am done. I am free. They want an intervention. Fine. I'm intervening in my own life. I'm out. The Kyoto tickets were confirmed. I had 2 weeks. 2 weeks to prepare for nothing really, just disappearing. But disappearing required planning, evidence. I had years of it. Screenshots of texts, emails detailing requests for money, bank statements highlighting transfers, all meticulously organized in a folder labeled Family Finances. Not for legal action, but for myself. To remember. To solidify my resolve. Professionals. Dr. Lee, of course. A financial advisor to restructure my accounts, ensuring they couldn't touch me even indirectly. No joint accounts, no shared investments, clean break. Research, minimal. I wasn't fighting a legal battle. This was psychological warfare, and I was choosing to disarm. I did read about boundary setting. Dr. Lee's recommendations, reread twice. Assets, secure. The advisor handled that. My passport readily available. Plan. Minimal engagement, that was the plan. Gray rock, answer nothing, offer nothing, just be a polite, unresponsive wall. Manipulation. I anticipated guilt trips, tears, accusations of abandonment. I practiced responses in the mirror. I understand you're upset. I need to prioritize my well-being. I'm not responsible for your feelings. Empty phrases, shields against emotional shrapnel. Physical prep, packing light, comfortable shoes. A subscription to a meditation app. Support. Liam, my best friend, knew everything. "Just call if you need backup," he'd said. "I'll be there." A safe place to retreat, though I doubted I'd need it. Internal monologue. "Okay, 2 weeks, just breathe, they'll be furious. Mom will cry, Chloe will accuse me of being selfish. I can't waver. This is for me. It's not about hurting them, it's about saving myself. What if they show up at my apartment? I'll ignore the door. What if they call my work? I'll tell my boss I'm taking a sabbatical. What if, stop, just breathe. Kyoto, temples, peace. I deserve peace." The morning of the meeting with Chloe dawned gray. I chose a simple dark blue sweater, non-threatening. I reread the boundary-setting notes. I am not responsible for their feelings. A text from Dr. Lee. "Remember your worth, Ethan. You've got this." It helped. The cafe was 5 blocks away. I started walking. Okay, Chloe will try to guilt me. She'll say Mom's sick, they're struggling. She might even apologize, fake sincerity dripping from every word. Don't fall for it. This isn't about forgiveness. It's about closure, about clearly delineating the new reality. I'm no longer their safety net. 2 blocks, just state my boundaries. No financial support. Limited contact. My life, my rules. Be firm but polite. Don't get drawn into an argument, walk away if necessary. 1 block. I paused, took a deep breath and straightened my shoulders. This is it, no turning back. The coffee bean buzzed with morning energy. Laptops clicked, espresso machines hissed, and the air smelled of burnt caramel. Chloe sat at a small table near the window, fiddling with a sugar packet. She looked pale, almost fragile. The usual carefully constructed facade was gone, replaced by a raw vulnerability that almost made me falter. Almost, I approached the table. "Chloe," I said, my voice neutral. She looked up, her eyes red-rimmed. "Ethan," she breathed, relief flooding her face. "Thank you for meeting me." I sat down opposite her, placing my phone face down on the table. "Let's get this over with." Chloe flinched. "Okay," she said softly. I wanted to apologize. "For what?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "For everything," she said, her voice trembling. "For the way we treated you, for taking you for granted, for expecting you to always be there, to always pay for everything." She paused, tears welling in her eyes. "We were awful." The tears were a practiced move. I'd seen it before. "Go on." Mom's been a mess," she continued, her voice thick with emotion. "She misses you terribly. She hasn't been sleeping. She keeps saying she doesn't know what she's going to do without you." The guilt trip, as expected. "That's unfortunate," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. Chloe's eyes widened, shocked by my coldness. "Ethan, how can you be so heartless? She's your mother." "And I'm her son," I retorted, "not her personal ATM." Her jaw dropped. "We never saw it that way," she protested, but the lie hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. "Really?" I raised an eyebrow. "Because it certainly felt that way. The constant requests for money, the snide comments, the complete lack of appreciation. It was exhausting, Chloe, and I'm done." "But what are we supposed to do?" she asked, her voice laced with desperation. "We can't afford everything without you. Mom needs her medication, I need to pay my rent." "That's not my problem anymore," I said, my voice firm. "You'll figure it out, just like I had to figure things out when I was working 3 jobs to pay for your college tuition." Her face paled. "That's not fair," she whispered. "You always made more money than me. It's not my fault." "No, it's not," I agreed. "But it's also not my responsibility to subsidize your lifestyle. I'm done sacrificing my well-being for your comfort." She stared at me, speechless, for a long moment. Then she tried a different tactic. "Mom's health is failing, Ethan. The stress of this is going to kill her." "Those tactics don't work on me anymore, Chloe," I said, my voice flat. "I'm not responsible for Mom's health. She needs to take care of herself. And so do you." Her composure crumbled. "So that's it," she cried, her voice rising. "You're just going to abandon us, after everything we've done for you." "Everything you've done for me," I scoffed. "Let's be clear, Chloe, I was the one doing all the giving, and you were the ones doing all the taking." "I hate you," she spat, her face contorted with rage. "That's your right," I said calmly, "but it doesn't change anything." I stood up. "I came here to tell you that I will no longer be providing any financial support to you or Mom. I will also be limiting contact. I need to focus on my own life, my own happiness. This isn't about the money, it's about control, and you've lost it." Chloe recoiled, her eyes wide with shock. The tears were gone, replaced by pure, unadulterated fury. I turned and walked away. "Ethan," she screamed after me, her voice cracking. "You'll regret this." I didn't turn back. I kept walking, out of the coffee shop, away from the family drama, towards my new life. Kyoto awaited. The cafe door chimed as I stepped out, the noise jarring after the tense quiet. My hands trembled, but not with anxiety this time. It was relief. A physical loosening of knots I hadn't realized were there. The air felt cleaner, the sky a brighter blue. I walked several blocks aimlessly before finding a small park. I sat on a bench beneath a sprawling oak, the sun warming my face. My phone buzzed with texts: Mom, Chloe, even Uncle David. I silenced it. The weight in my chest, a constant companion for years, had lifted. I closed my eyes, focusing on the sounds of the city, the distant siren, the chatter of passers-by, the rustling leaves. For the first time in a long time, I felt present. Grounded. 6 weeks have passed. The initial storm of family outrage has subsided into a low, persistent grumble. Mom still calls, leaving voicemails filled with guilt and thinly veiled threats. Chloe has resorted to passive-aggressive social media posts, lamenting the loss of family bonds. Uncle David sent a drunken text, calling me a heartless bastard. I deleted them all. There have been unexpected positive developments. Aunt Carol, Dad's sister, reached out. Apparently, she'd always suspected the dynamic between Mom, Chloe, and me was unhealthy. Your father wouldn't have stood for it, she said. She offered support, a listening ear, and a much-needed dose of validation. It turns out not everyone in the family was blind to the truth. Liam has been a rock. We go hiking, play video games, just hang out. He doesn't offer advice, just presence. His quiet support has been invaluable. Kyoto was transformative. The temples, the gardens, the quiet reverence. It was exactly what I needed. I learned to meditate, to appreciate the small moments, to find peace in solitude. I hiked, I ate amazing food, I explored ancient shrines. It was an escape, yes, but also a journey inward. I realized I'd been living my life for others for so long I'd forgotten who I was. There are still challenges. Occasional waves of guilt wash over me. I worry about Mom, about whether she's truly okay. But then I remember the years of manipulation, the constant pressure, and the feeling subsides. It's a process. I've started taking a pottery class. It's messy, frustrating, and incredibly therapeutic. I'm terrible at it, but that's okay. It's about the process, not the product. Financially, I'm much more secure. The advisor helped me restructure my investments, ensuring I have a solid future. I'm even considering early retirement, something I never thought possible. Chloe recently sent a birthday card, my birthday, which she usually forgets. It was a generic card, no personal message, but it felt like a small olive branch. I didn't respond. Mom still hasn't fully accepted the new reality. She occasionally calls from different numbers, pretending to be someone else. I recognize her voice immediately. I hang up. I've learned that boundaries are not walls, they're fences. They keep the bad out, but they still allow for connection on my terms. I've learned that saying no is an act of self-love, not selfishness. I've learned that forgiveness is a process, not an event. And most importantly, I've learned that I am worthy of love, respect, and happiness, regardless of what my family thinks. I am calmer, more confident, and more at peace than I've ever been. The anxiety that used to consume me has dissipated, replaced by a sense of quiet strength. I still have moments of doubt, of course. Old habits die hard. But now I recognize those moments for what they are: remnants of a toxic past. I acknowledge them and then I let them go. Before, I was a puppet, controlled by the strings of family obligation. Now I'm the puppeteer in charge of my own destiny. I have a question for you. Has anyone else gone through something similar? What are some tips for dealing with the occasional guilt? I know I'm doing the right thing, but those feelings creep in sometimes. How do you handle it?